So getting back to this, so yeah, there can be line item veto, but there's some interesting bills in here. There's a bill that I thought was interesting that you'd be interested in is relating to cannabis.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
No, the reason why I thought it was interesting because the governor says in his veto message here that he is concerned about medical privacy.
Yeah, the governor has made it clear he supports access to cannabis.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, whether it's medical or even recreational, he's kind of going there. But he is citing some privacy concerns.
Yeah, which is interesting again because that issue was always inherent in this bill. That was part of the reasons why Department of Health wanted to be able to look, examine, and see what the doctors or the advanced practice registered nurses or the so-called medical folks were giving these recommendations on, right? But here at the last minute, way after the legislature signed it die, a month later, he comes up and says, hey, wait a minute. There are concerns about this, especially since it's still deemed illegal by the federal government under the federal law today.
We're gonna highlight this one and mark it because we may have to discuss that moving forward should Hawaii move into recreational cannabis territory.
And I thought this bill is also interesting because it said related to cannabis, but also in this bill there's a component that would allow the sale of hemp.
Yeah, hemp.
And I said, so I said to myself, it may run afoul of the one subject matter, one topic, prohibition that a bill can only have one subject matter, not two. In fact, there's a bill on this list that may be vetoed because of that very reason.
Wow, that's another one good to watch. And we should actually have Senator Gabbard on the show to talk about the difference between marijuana and hemp. Even though they are very similar, and there are some ways that I do believe they run very, very, very closely together, intermingled maybe.
Calabash cousins.
Well, they're very close. Calabash cousins.
Close,
though.
Very close.
In fact, I bet if we test their DNA, those cousins probably are related.
23andMe.
Yeah. Well, maybe not 23andMe right now with all the problems they're having.
Okay.